Dear my beloved audiences, today I want to tell you a story which is called The Heart of Kampong Cham. In a small riverside village in Kampong Cham, Cambodia, where the Mekong flows calmly and the morning air smells of lemongrass and damp earth, there lived a dog named Vanek. He was not a dog of any specific breed, just a mix of this and that, a little wiry, with one ear flopped over and the other standing straight like a flag. His coat was a dusty brown, always speckled with mud or sand, and his eyes were the color of roasted coffee beans, deep and knowing. Vanek was not born in a home. He came into the world under a stilted house near the river, where fishing nets were piled high and children played barefoot in the mud. His mother had given birth to 6 pups, but only 2 survived. From a young age, Vanek learned the rules of survival. Eat quickly, avoid motorcycles, and never trust a rooster. The village was not unkind to animals, but life there was hard. Food was not wasted, and every creature had to earn its keep. By the time he was a year old, Vanek had made a name for himself. He wasn't just another stray. He was the village dog. He greeted boats when they docked, followed school children to class, and kept a wary eye on the monks' saffron robes as they passed by in the early morning alms rounds. Everyone knew him. Some called him Michke, the Khmer word for dog, while others simply shouted Vanek when they saw him chasing after a passing tuk-tuk. But it was one old man, Mr. Somnang, who saw something more in Vanek. Somnang was a retired teacher, quiet and deliberate in his actions. He spent his mornings sipping strong black coffee under the banana trees and his afternoons tending a small vegetable garden behind his wooden home. When he first began leaving scraps of grilled fish and rice out for Vanek, it was simply out of habit. But over time, a bond grew between the old man and the dog, a wordless friendship built on routine and trust. Each morning, Vanek would trot over as Somnang sat with his coffee. He never begged, only sat a few feet away, tail swishing like a slow metronome. When Somnang offered him a bite, Vanek took it gently, his eyes always meeting the old man's as if to say, "Thank you. I see you too." One rainy season, when the Mekong overflowed its banks and turned roads into rivers, disaster struck the village. Heavy rains caused a landslide on the far side of the hill, cutting off access to the main road. Several homes were damaged, including that of Somnang, whose garden was flooded and kitchen partially destroyed. In the chaos, most of the villagers gathered at the school building, the highest structure in the village, which now served as an emergency shelter. Somnang, frail and stubborn, refused to leave his home. He stayed behind, patching what he could, trying to save his belongings. For 2 days, he was alone, except for Vanek. The dog stayed by his side through the storm, sleeping on a dry sack of rice and barking at the sound of falling debris. He even ran back and forth to the school, guiding villagers to Somnang's home when the old man's water filter broke. The villagers watched in wonder as Vanek became a kind of 4-legged messenger, braving water and mud, carrying hope where words could not. After the storm passed and the village began to rebuild, Vanek was no longer just the village dog. He was a hero. One of the younger villagers, a teenager named Dara, painted a mural on the school wall of Vanek, standing tall with the river and mountains behind him. Children brought him treats, sometimes too many, and Somnang built a small shelter next to his house just for the dog. No longer a wanderer, Vanek had found a real home. Years passed. The village grew. Electricity reached more homes, and the roads were slowly paved. But something stayed the same. Every morning, Vanek still sat beside Somnang, who grew thinner but never missed his coffee. The two watched the sunrise together, the sky turning pink and gold above the calm waters of the Mekong. When Somnang passed away peacefully one cool morning, the entire village mourned. At the funeral, held beneath the big tamarind tree at the edge of the village, Vanek sat quietly at the front, unmoving. He didn't howl. He didn't bark. He just sat, as if he understood that his friend was gone. No one had the heart to take Vanek away. They let him stay in Somnang's house, now watched over by a neighbor. The dog would sleep on the same porch, still waking early to face the rising sun. The villagers continued to feed him and keep his shelter clean. In time, he became a symbol, not just of loyalty, but of the village's soul. And when he grew old and thin, walking slower and napping longer, the people knew his time was near. On the day Vanek died, the village held a small ceremony. They buried him next to Somnang, beneath the banana trees, and placed a hand-carved wooden marker in the ground. It read, "Here lies Vanek, the dog with a heart full of Cambodia." He was last seen napping under the town fountain, one paw draped over a victory sausage, dreaming of his next big case. If you like this video, please leave a like and a subscribe. It will really help our channel grow. But if you don't like it, then just skip it and don't forget to check out our other videos. Thank you very much and goodbye.